We have a crisis in the world, tremendous crisis, and also crisis in our consciousness, in us. I see the urgency of change, radical revolution, mutation in the mind. I see it. It is necessary. There is complete quietness of the mind, and that which is silent has vast space. Only then that which is nameless comes into being.
This is Urgency of Change, the Krishnamurti podcast. Goodness is something totally divorced from evil. But we have mixed the two together, and we say we must fight, resist, put away evil in order to be good. Hello and welcome to episode 223 of Urgency of Change. Each episode of the Krishnamurti podcast features carefully selected extracts from the archives. The aim is to represent different aspects of Krishnamurti's radical approach to many of the issues and questions we all face in our lives. This week's theme is good and evil. Upcoming themes are escapes, reality, and will. This is a podcast from Krishnamurti Foundation Trust. Please visit our website at kfoundation.org, where you can find a broad collection of articles and quotes, an introduction and biography, along with a comprehensive index of topics for easy access to texts and recordings. Our online store stocks all available Krishnamurti books and ships worldwide. You can also find our regular quotes and videos on Instagram, TikTok and Facebook at Krishnamurti Foundation Trust. If you enjoy the podcast, please leave a review or rating on your podcast app. This helps our visibility. This week's episode on good and evil has 4 sections. This first extract is from the first question and answer meeting at Brockwood Park in 1984, titled, "Is Goodness Related to Evil?"
What is good and what is so-called not good? If we use the word evil, that has got such connotations behind that word. Let's forget the word evil for the moment. The good and the bad. The bad is and the good is, according to the cinema. What is good? Now, please look at it for a minute. The speaker is asking the question, what is good? How do you listen to the word? How do you receive that word? Doesn't matter who says it. How do you listen to it, receive it? What's your taste of that word? What's your feeling, instinctive feeling to that word? Instinct, I don't mean generally, your immediate feeling for that word. And when you say the bad, what is your response to it? A repulsion? A thing that you see some evil, some bad thing being done? So to discover for oneself the reaction to these 2 words. Not what philosophers say, not what other people, the bishops, the priests, the popes I don't mean merely the Roman Pope, but the popes of all over the world, of different religious organizations with their heads, with their tails and all the rest of it. when one listens to these two words which have had tremendous effect on mankind, historically, right from the beginning, the Christians have said this is good. If you go against it, we'll burn you. They have. Heretics tortured them, burnt them, what they have done. And that's considered good. And go to India, to be burnt for some of your belief is considered a horror. You understand? So what is good, apart from all this, what is good and what is bad? Now, I'll go on. May I? Is the good related to the bad? And is the good in conflict with the bad? Novels are written about it. The good always conquering at the end. Even in the thrillers. And the bad is always being destroyed. And the bad always coming up. The battle has been going on. You see it in Lescaut and other caves in south of France and other parts of the world. This battle, right? Good and the bad. The evil, I don't like that word evil. It stinks. Forgive me if I use that word. Sorry. So what is good and what is bad? Are they related to each other? Is goodness born out of that which is bad? Because I know that which is bad, tradition, conditioning, that which has people have said, written, and that evil, that bad, that which is bad, is fighting that which is good. And the good is fighting that which is bad, right? So I'm asking, is that which is good born out of that which is bad? You understand my question? It's a simple question. If goodness is born out of that which is bad, it is not good. Right? Then they are related to each other. Therefore, it's not good. Are you following? So, there are two entirely different things. The one cannot become the other. If it can become the other, it's already recognized by the other. You understand all this? Therefore, it's not good. Goodness is something totally divorced from that which is bad. Right? But we have mixed the two together and we say we must fight it. Each thing must be fought. You must resist, fight, put away evil, bad, in order to be good. You understand? So the goodness is always in terms of the bad. And we are saying something entirely different. Goodness has no relationship whatsoever with that which is bad. For the goodness to exist, the bad must cease. That's all. Not a battle between the two. This is simply logic, sanity. Now, to come very near home, in us there is these two opposing elements. This duality. Duality of wanting, aspiration is a wrong word. Aspiration is something romantic and idealistic and rather stupid. Forgive me if I use that word. We're all aspiring for something. You're aspiring to become a manager of a good corporation. And you're also aspiring for God. Same thing, whether you understand this, God is another form of good corporation. I'm not being blasphemous, but these are all so obvious. So goodness cannot exist where that which is bad. From the bad you cannot possibly go to the good. It's not a movement from this to that. It's not a process of time from that which is bad to achieve that is good. Right? Now, the question arises from that. What is bad? You understand? I will know what is good only when that which is bad is not. So let's put away the good. Don't let's say, tell me what it is secretly or tell me openly, then I'll follow that. But to understand that which is bad. Is it bad to be a nationalistic? Come on, sir, answer it. To say I'm a Frenchman. I'm British. Or I'm a Hindu, or a Sikh, or a Muslim. Is that bad?
It might not be to yourself, but to other people.
Of course, to other people, we are including all of us. So I'm not saying to me it's bad and to you it's good, not bad. That's rather, we're asking what is bad. Not according to me or according to somebody else. As long as there is division, right? Racial division, class division, religious division, right? Political, economic, and so on divisions. Those divisions create conflict, war ultimately, killing each other. You understand? Isn't that bad?
Yes.
No?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, good. I'm glad. And yet, religions have supported it. You support it. You understand? By say, all the rest of it. Can we be free of all that first? Not belong to any country, to any group. To any guru, to any religious organization, because they're all divisive. That brings about another question. Authority. Political authority, religious authority, the totalitarian authority. Understand? Is authority evil? Not authority in the hands of the wise is good. Do you understand? We have said that. Authority of the wise is the salvation of the foolish. So, authority of the policeman, the authority of law. You have to pay tax. Not for myself, but you have to pay tax. If you don't pay it, you're punished for somewhere or other. So there is authority outwardly, right? Authority of keeping to the left side of the road, the authority of keeping the right side in France and Europe. And there must be authority in a school, in a college, otherwise you follow? But we are talking about authority, the feeling of authority, the power of authority to slaughter people. So authority, spiritual authority in the deepest sense of that word is bad, is evil. So, then the question is, the bad. The bad, we said, is any kind of division. Don't misunderstand. The religious division, right? The division that says, we are closed, you can't come in here, psychologically. But the door is open if you want to come in. That's not, you understand? That's not closed. So go into all this. It all comes down to any form of psychological, individualistic division. The Arab, the Jew, the Muslim, and so on. Any psychological, organizational division in that sense of that word. That's bad. Right? And can one be free of all that? And not just say, yes, I agree, I see your point, but it's all right, but go on with our war. It's nice. We are violent people. That's part of our expression of violence, the ultimate expression of violence, to kill a million people at one blow. Or do we end all that in ourselves? In ourselves first, not organizationally. You know that story which the speaker thought out? There are two men walking along. You know it, some of you heard this? If you have, forgive me. Don't get bored with it. Two men were walking along on a street, talking about various things of life. And one of them sees something on the pavement, picks it up. The moment he looks at it, his whole face changes. He sees something tremendously had taken place in him. And he puts it in his pocket very carefully, in his inner pocket. And the friend says to him, what is it you picked up? Why have you become so extraordinary? Your face has changed. He said, I picked up truth. And the fellow and his friend says, but is that really so? I can see by how you look. So what shall we do about it? And the friend said, let's go and organize it. This is an old story, which I speak in bit about 40 years, 50 years ago. So, can we, each one of us, not join an organization that will help us to be free from war? That's another form of org. You follow? We don't begin with ourselves first. Can we, each of us, end this division in ourselves? Then you can use organizations. You understand? But if you use organizations to change the inner, you never succeed. So, can we, each of us, put anything that divides us from another? Of course, you must have your own house, your own garden, your own. You follow me? Not psychologically, inwardly, subjectively. Then you don't have to search for the good. Then the good flourishes. Then goodness flowers. And the beauty of that is endless. It's never can be destroyed by anything.
In the animal kingdom, the tiger eats the goat. Does the goat look upon the tiger as a baddie?
Of course not. The tiger kills the beautiful deer. And the tiger too is very beautiful. Have you been very close to a tiger, any of you? No, of course not. You've seen them in a zoo. Be very close, about 10 feet away from them. Don't bother. I'm not inviting you to go and meet them. The tiger eats the deer. The big things eat the little things. And the bigger things eat the bigger. Follow? Up and up. Is that evil? Tiger killing the deer? Of course not. You follow this nature. Why do we say tiger is cruel? The cat playing with a mouse. You understand? Haven't you known that? That's rather ugly. That's... Our whole civilization is so monstrous, right? So we must begin with ourselves, not tiger, elephants and rats and snakes. I'm afraid we all do this. We want to escape from ourselves. And ourselves is the most important thing. And to penetrate this sheath, this outward appearances, outward show, outward thing, deeply to go inward. That journey is endless. It has got such extraordinary beauty.
The second extract is from the second question and answer meeting at Brockwood Park in 1984, titled, Do Good and Evil Exist Outside of Ourselves?
You spoke on Tuesday about goodness, but I am still not quite clear about whether the quality of goodness or evil is an outside agency or force existing in the world, or only a projection of our own thinking. The questioner, as we understand it, wants to know, is goodness and evil something outside, nothing to do ourselves, but putting ourselves aside, does this goodness exist in the air, as it were, and the evil outside? Is it totally independent of our human beings? You understand? This is what the questioner is asking, if we understand it rightly. There have been wars. Sorry to talk about wars. There have been wars for thousands upon thousands of years. There have been killing of human beings by the million. And that killing has created immense sorrow. Is that sorrow outside? Separated from us? We have our own sorrow, our own pain, our own anxiety, our own sense of goodness and badness, or if you like to use the word evil. Apart from that, does evil and goodness exist? You understand? What do you think? As the questioner asks, is it our projection, our prejudice, our sense of the good and the bad? Or is there evil something separate altogether from human endeavor, human existence? This is a very serious question. This is not just a flippant question. People have talked about goodness for years. Aristotle, I believe, talked about it, Plato. And before Aristotle, Plato, there was the ancient Hindus. And before them, there was somebody else talking about, inquiring. The same thing as we're doing now. The evil that man has created, the goodness that man has pursued, the ideals and the conformity, and something that exists outside of us. There are people in the world, like the terrorists, like the imperialists, the great conquerors of the world, from Genghis Khan, Napoleon, all the rest of it. They wanted power. Power by hoping to unify Europe. The Church, the Catholic Church, has hoped to unify all Europe by dogma, rituals, belief, torture, and all the rest of it. Wars. And those exist still, that feeling. Right? Or do you object to that? And there have been great many people who pursued goodness. Not people didn't know them. They were not famous people. They were people who said, I lived a good life. Not the good life in the modern world with good meals and good drinks and all the rest of it. But the good life of austerity, not just putting on a loincloth or one robe. Austerity is something entirely different. And I pursued that. And the building of that goodness, though those people have died and gone, must exist. Haven't you found when you enter a house, strange house, the atmosphere of it? No? One can feel there have been quarrels in the house. There have been violence. There have been perpetual conflict in that house. One can feel it. So he's outside. Right? Do you object to that? So there is goodness and that which is called evil or bad exists in the world apart from our own contribution to it. And one can become highly sensitive to all that and put an end to our own conflicts, divisions, holding on to opinions and saying my opinion is a fact, and the regular process of holding on to something and battling for it. All this requires a very careful observation, perception of oneself, perception of one's own activities, behavior. Either one contributes to goodness or to the so-called that which is bad.
The third extract is from Krishnamurti's first talk in Ojai, 1979, titled, Can You Be Totally and Absolutely Good?
We'll go into that word good, if we may, because most people, the intellectuals, the highly cultivated minds, think good is rather impossible word. They don't like that word because it's rather shy-making word. You following all that? But I think we should stick to that word in spite of them. So we must go into that, to the meaning of that word. To be good. Because you cannot have a good society which has been the dream of ancient Indians, Hindus, ancient Greeks and Egyptians and so on, to bring about a good society. And a good society can only exist when there is a good man. Because being good, he creates goodness, brings about goodness in his relationship, in his actions, in his way of life. So we must be very clear and the understanding of that word, good. Don't despise that word. Good also means that which is beautiful. Good also means that which is holy. It's related to God, to the highest principles and so on. So, that word good needs to be very deeply understood. When there is this goodness in one, then whatever you do will be good. Your relationships, your actions, your way of thinking and so on. So please, as we are thinking together, let us examine that word. Because one may immediately capture the whole significance of that word. The extraordinary quality of that word. Instantly. But generally people don't. They want an explanation of what it is to be good. The speaker is not ashamed to use that word. You may spit on it. Generally, the intellectuals do. They say such thing doesn't exist anymore. We're going to find out what it means. Goodness is not the opposite of that which is bad. Please carefully let's think over this thing together. Because this is going to, if you really go into this very deeply, it's going to affect your consciousness. It's going to affect your way of thinking. It's going to affect the way of your life. So please give little attention to the understanding of that word. First, the word is not the thing, right? I may describe the mountains most beautifully, paint it, make a poem, but the word, the description, the poem is not the actual. But we're generally carried away emotionally, irrationally, by the description, by the word. So please, we are pointing out the word is not the actual. So we are saying goodness is not related to that which is bad. The good is not the outcome of the bad. Goodness is totally unrelated to that which is ugly, which is not beautiful. So goodness is by itself unrelated to that which we may consider evil, ugly, bad. That's the first thing to comprehend in thinking over together. If you say the good is the outcome of the bad, the evil, the ugly, then the good has in it the bad, the ugly, the brute. You understand? You understand this? Huh? The good must be and is totally unrelated to that which is not. And the good cannot possibly exist when there is any acceptance of any authority. Right? I'm going to go into, please, we are thinking together over a very, very serious problem. Authority is very complex. There is the authority of law, which man has put together through many, many centuries. There is the law of nature. There is the law of our own experience, according to which we obey, according to the law of our own petty reactions, which dominate our lives. Then there is the law of institutions, the law of organized beliefs, which are called religions, dogmas. We are saying goodness is totally unrelated to every form of authority. Please look at it, examine it, understand it. Don't reject it. So say it's too complex, we don't understand. It's very simple. If you examine it, if you apply your mind to it. Goodness is not the pursuit of conformity. If you conform to a belief, to a concept, to an idea, to a principle, that's not good, because it creates conflict. The essence of goodness is a mind that is not in conflict. Examine it, look at it. Goodness cannot flower through another, through a religious figure, through dogma, through belief. It can only flower in the soil of total attention, in which there is no authority. You're following all this? Is this all too complex? And goodness implies great responsibility. Can't be good and allow wars to take place. So a man that is really good is totally responsible for all his life. So we'll go into that. So we're asking, can a man who has lived in a society where the pressures of institutions, pressures of belief, pressures of authoritarian religious people, can such a man be good? You following all this? Please give your minds to this. Because it's only if you are good, if you as a human being, totally and absolutely good, absolutely, not partially, then we'll create a different society, a good society. So, our question then is it possible, living in this world, married, children, jobs, is it possible to be good? Good in the sense we are using it carefully, in which is implied great responsibility, care, attention, diligence, love. That is, whole of that word good contains all that. Is that possible for you who care to come here, listen? Is that possible for you? If it is not possible, then you accept the society as it is. Please, this is very serious, as we pointed out. This is not for little children. This is not for those who do not want to think through a particular aspect of life. This demands your attention, that means your energy. Human beings have plenty of energy. When they want to do something, they do it. This demands immense energy. That is, if we want to create a different society, a society which is essentially good, in the context which you are using that word. Now, having stated that, what prevents us? You understand my question? What prevents every human being who's here from being utterly good? What is the barrier? What is the block? Why don't human beings be utterly, sanely good?
The final extract in this episode is from the second talk in Ojai 1979, titled, "To be good, you must know yourself."
So how do we, each one of us, create or bring about a good society? Please, as we said, we are thinking together. We are investigating together. Though previously the speaker has said, thought is very limited. Thought is fragmentary, broken up. But we must use thought. Though it's limited, though it breaks things up, because thought is in itself partial. But we must use thought, realizing its limitation. We must exercise thought to find out, to observe very clearly, with reason, logic, sanity. Why? We live the way we do. Concerned with our own little problems, with our own sexual desires, with our own psychological conflicts and all the rest of it. So we said, goodness is not an abstraction, not an idea, not a something ideal, actuality, to be good. Because it's only when individuals or groups of individuals, human beings, are good in the deep sense of that word, then there is a possibility of bringing about a different society. We were saying all this yesterday. And we came to the point that to have this sense of goodness, which we carefully explain what that word means, which is to have great sense of responsibility, to have certain care, affection, love, all that's implied in that word. And realizing that the significance, the full depth of that word, goodness, which is not the opposite of that which is evil. We explained that carefully. And we said, is it possible for a human being to bring about this goodness in himself? Because he creates the society. The society which we have is created by each one of us. We have contributed to that by our greed, by our angers, by our hatreds, by our various forms of pleasure, ambition, and so on. We have created this monstrous society. And unless we understand ourselves, what we are, and bring about a change in what we are, there can never be a good society. So we said, to understand oneself is important. The ancient Hindus and the Greeks and others have said, know yourself. Please, we are thinking together. We are investigating together. Don't listen to the talk and go away. You are working as hard as the speaker. We are investigating, exploring, thinking, feeling together into this problem. Because any thoughtful man who is serious must find out for himself a way of living surrounded by chaos, surrounded by disorder, immorality, to live a life that is essentially good. And to find that out, we said we must know yourself. Know yourself, not according to some philosopher, to some leader, to some analyst, to some guru, because they're only informing you what they think you are, including the Freudians, the Jungians, and all the rest of them. If you discard all those, one must, if you want to discover what you are and to bring about a change in what you are, you must investigate your own consciousness, your own mind, your own reactions, your way of life.